guys, and welcome back to the Figaro Shop. This morning I have the Restored and Remastered Figaro with us. I wanted to take the time and the opportunity to talk you through how everything works with a Figaro. With a lot of new owners out there now, a lot of people are unsure on how some of the little bits work on the Figaro, so I wanted to take the time and just show you how that works. I'll then show you some of the finer detail regarding the Restored and Remastered. So let's start with actually how you get into the Figaro. First of all Figaros come with no central locking, so you have to use the key. So I'll show you how the key works to unlock and unlock them. So this is just unique to the actual each individual door. So as you twist it, the chrome pin drops down and the opposite way it opens. The Restored and Remastered does have central locking. So again, real straightforward. You have a padlock which is unlocked and obviously a padlock locked which is locked. So again, you lock it, the pin goes down, unlock it, the pin goes up. Once you gain entrance into the vehicle, pull the door handle and in you come. On the inside of the driver's door, you'll actually see you have some chrome switches here. So this is for the driver and the passenger side electric window. And this little button here does tend to cause some problems for some owners. So if you find that the passenger window won't work, this is normally that this button here has been depressed. So this was like almost like your child safety lock basically. From there we'll move into the dash. So we'll start from right to left. So on the right hand side here, you have a chrome stalk. This is for your heated rear window. We then have your aerial. So again, this is a toggle switch, so up and down. When you lift it up, the aerial comes up, which is located on the driver's side on the rear. And obviously when you go down, it goes down. Opposite side of the steering wheel, we then have your hazard switch. So when you flick this up, you'll see that the hazards come on. Hopefully you'll never need them. And obviously off again. And then lastly we have your AC, so your air conditioning. So this will turn on your air conditioning on and off. Now most importantly, the air conditioning won't work until the car is running. So here you have the Figaro key. We pop the key into the ignition, turn on the ignition by 2 clicks and you'll hear some beep. That's normal to let you know that the actual door is open. Turn it over and the engine will start. From there, what we need to do is just make sure that the actual heating system is going to work for the air conditioning. So we do that by ensuring that the actual fans are on your face. We make sure it's on cold. Most importantly, we've actually turned the fans on. As you see, you've got off 1, 2 and 3. And then lastly, we flick this up and you'll hear a little click actually in the engine bay. You'll also hear that the rev counter will change ever so slightly in terms of tone, and then you'll start getting cold air out of the face vents. Now you do have to bear in mind that these are still a 34-year-old vehicle, so it's not like an AC system in your brand new vehicles. It does work, but they're not obviously amazing for what they should be. Hopefully that helps. To be able to then turn the car off, because obviously the car is actually running at the moment, the Figaro does have a quirk. So as you see, once we turn the key off, it doesn't come out. You've got a little button just here. You depress, turn one more click, and the key will come out. So this vehicle is fitted with our double DIN stereo system. So this comes complete with wireless Apple CarPlay or wireless Android Auto. So what we need to do is we need to pair your mobile phone up to the stereo system. So the first thing we do is on the bottom left hand corner, you've got a series of little square grids, which is like your menu setting. So we select that, and where it says Bluetooth audio, we touch that button there. From there, down the bottom right, we have like a little setting symbol. Press this one, and so from this you click on device list, and at the top you have a little plus symbol. Press this plus symbol, and now if you look on my phone, it comes up saying Figaro. We say yes because the codes to match, so yes and pair, and after a couple of seconds it will start loading through. It says, do you want to use Apple CarPlay? So yes we do. And then after around about 30 seconds it will load through as Apple CarPlay, and there we go. Apple CarPlay comes through, so you have your Spotify. Here in the UK we have a satellite navigation called Waze. Obviously then we have your normal phone book, everything else that goes with it. So you have your volume buttons that work straightforward. Yeah, nice and simple. For Figaro, the most important bit is to get that roof down. So come on in and we'll show you how that happens. So you need to make sure that the upper boot is open for this roof to fold down into. So we do that by down by the driver's side. On the interior you have this black switch. Flick that switch and you'll hear the upper boot the solenoids will pop. You'll then see you've got around about 1/4 of an inch of a gap on here. So you can see my fingers, it's nice and light. This will just lift up into position via the gas strut. So it's not supposed to spring back, it just assisted, it will bring it back into position. We then need to open the latches which are inside the vehicle. So to do that, these chrome switches, all we do is nice and simple. This one here, just roll forward and with your other finger, just open it up. So from outside of the vehicle, you then slowly lift the roof up. So you can hold it at the front, or if you want to, you can use the levers. It's nice and light. It goes back down, and as you see, it won't fold all the way down into position. So this Figaro, being a restored and remastered, has the new boot strap. We won't use it just for demonstration purposes, but it will hold it down into position nice and tight and stop it from bouncing around when you're driving. We then close up the upper boot using the tonneau cover onto the poppers, and you'll see what I've done is I've left this ever so slightly higher while I've popped the tonneau cover on. So then all we do, 2 little soft clicks, and what that does is that makes sure that the upper boot is back into position. That will stop when you start to drive. If you have a beeping, it means that you haven't done that. The next bit I'm going to show you is how to get open the bonnet. So if you have a little look down to the driver's side, just underneath the dash, there is a lever with a bonnet symbol on. If you give that a good pull, it's normally quite stiff. That will then actually open up the bonnet, and as you can see, you have a couple of inch gap here that you can put your fingers into. Lift it up forward. You then have your bonnet stay here. Pop that into position and it's nice and safe, it's not going to hurt you. So what I like to do is I want to show you just a couple of items for you to keep an eye on while you're using the Figaro, just as general maintenance really. So if you have a shop or a garage that looks after it, obviously they will do fundamental bits for you, but as obviously a classic car, even as a restored car, it still needs to be checked now and then. So a couple of items for you to take a look at. So in here is your cooling system, so this is your radiator, so only check it when the actual engine is cold, not when it's warm. So this cap just unscrews and you want to just make sure there's enough cooling in there that you can see up to the top. The next one is obviously the oil. So this one just here is your oil dipstick. So this pulls up and it has on there a minimum and a maximum. You need to make sure obviously it's as close to the maximum as possible. Then just on that outer edge there, which is like a bluey sort of colour, that's your screen wash. So there are various colours and various degrees obviously that works. Right next to that in that dome is actually the power steering reservoir. So again, that just twists off, just make sure it's nice and obviously full up in there for you. And then lastly, this here is your braking system. So you just want to make sure, as you can see in here, that this is full of brake fluid. If that isn't there, obviously then we will have a problem. Otherwise, that's nice and straightforward for you, and I hope that helps. So this is your trickle charger system. So this will ensure that the battery, when you're not using the car, is being constantly conditioned so that it never goes flat for you. So you'll see down here on the dash, on the actual grille, sorry, you'll see this black area here. This just pops off, and inside you see a little push connection that needs to fit in there. So inside the black bag of the charging system, you will see this version here fits nice and neatly straight into position. All you then have to do is the other end pop into your power, nice and straightforward, and that is it. Obviously when you come to reuse it, turn the power off, pop it out, push the button back over, and that is it.